Hi, sweet girl. Yeah. Oh, my sweet sleepy angel. Yeah, my sweet sleepy angel. Yeah, it's okay to go to sleep. It's okay to go to sleep. It's okay to go to sleep. Yes, 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 it is. It's okay to sleep. Good morning. Hi, everybody. It's new book day. Very exciting for us. Good morning, Avery. Good morning, everybody. We're starting a brand new book today. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see how it goes. You've been waiting? Yeah, I'm sorry. We're a few minutes late because she was eating, but it's all good. How's everyone doing? Hey, Danny. Good morning, Melissa. How are you guys? Hey, Sloth. How's everyone doing this morning? Y'all feeling fine? Uh-oh, somebody got filtered, and you know what? I'm willing to bet it wasn't anything I wanted filtered. No, not that you relate that I was excited. Oh, yeah, no, of course. I knew what you meant, Isabella. I also was a few minutes late, but that's because she was finishing her breakfast. And, oh, you got filtered? Oh, really? I thought I saw your message. I saw your face. She's getting so big already. Can you believe it? No, it wasn't you, Isabella. It wasn't you. I saw your message. But someone did. I don't know. You are so sleepy right now. Finishing your breakfast right before book club does you a favor, huh? Because you're so sleepy. Yeah. Sleep. Nope, that's a leggy. That's a leggies. These are leggies. And a toes. Toes. Should we release these toes? You were not rude at all, Isabella. Isabella, I have to tell you, you are one of the kindest people ever, and although I accept your apology, you never have to give one because you have never been rude. So consider yourself always, totally fine. Don't even stress yourself out. It's really not, this is never a place for you to stress yourself out. We are not your stressor. Let the world be stressful, but not book club. Anything else can be stressful, but not us. Not us. And I understand what you're feeling because so I also don't want to invalidate your feelings because I recognize what you're feeling in myself. So often when I think that there's something going on the same way, I would jump to apologize as well. And it's just, some of us who have anxiety, we do that. And I recognize that you're feeling that, so it's all valid, but you're chill here. Let the rest of the world be the problem, not us. No, so smiley in your sleep. I know, I totally understand, Isabella. I have the same gut feelings, which is why I'm trying to impart on younger people not to have that. I know it's difficult, but at least you can find a safe space here. We normally tell them harmful. Exactly. And also, you're here like every day, so we know you're not harmful. Like, only the people who pop in randomly and are wackadoodle, then we can worry about them. They should say sorry, not you. Actually, I don't even care if they say sorry because we don't care about them. Sorries are only important if it's the person we care about. And we don't care about the trolls or the robots, except when TikTok thinks I'm a robot, and then we slightly care. You're so fine, Isabella. Don't ignore it. Overthinking everything is it's very hard, very valid. 100% agree. But I want you to know that you're safe here and you don't have to fret. Fret's such a good word, right? Troll, you say. Eyebrow wiggle. Can you see my eyebrows? I hate that they put all this stuff here because I feel like it inhibits my good eyebrow wiggles. Slender! sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. She did get offended. I was too loud for her liking, which, okay. Oh, it's very almost empty. Yeah, nobody wants to do that, Amanda. I stand corrected. There are lives where I join and I do clear the chat, but not our lives. Like, so like during the, how do I say this? Schmishmection, you know, the thing where we choose a new, Smezident, that thing. I used to watch lives from the DNC and I would clear the chat because it was annoying. Hey, how are you? Hey, Jillian. Hey, everybody. Is everyone here to test out this new book? Is that why we've got all these people? We have a sleepy girl. Oh, thank you. I love this cup. I got it from my, from my brother's wedding. Yes, I did. Good morning, good morning. It's new book day. Guys, I have to tell you something really important. Good morning, Claire. Did you see the dresses? The dresses. I did not see the dresses. What dresses? I don't even know what we're talking about. What dresses? Oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, really? Yeah, I'm so scared for my... I know, seriously, Isabella, you're lucky to not be here. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. At Target, I posted a picture. You know what? I didn't see that. Work meeting happening early. All right, see you later, Amanda. You are lucky, Isabella. You are lucky. Guys, I need you to... What are the dresses of, first of all? And then I'll tell you what I need from you all. Baby dresses? Grown-up dresses? Disney dresses. Ooh, we love a Disney dress. For me or for her? For her. Oh, I love that. I'm very into that. I will have to check right after this. I mean, I'm also into it if it's for me, but like, you know. Okay, so I have to tell you guys something. Me too, Isabella, me too. Today, little princess and I have our first solo outing ever. You're gonna have to wish us luck. Do you think we will survive? Are we taking bets on whether or not we survive? I know, we're going out alone for the first time. Yeah, we are. For the first time ever, she and I. We'll girl boss it. Thank you, Isabella, I appreciate your support. We might survive, we might not, but we'll see, right? So mommy has a doctor's appointment. My man calls me Disney Princess. Me too, same. I have my 6-week checkup, and then we're going to have a play date with a baby who's 1 month older than her. Yeah, you're smiling about that. So we'll see. It's both, Sloth. It's both. Isn't that funny? It's one and then the other. Yeah, so we're going to go to the doctor's office first. That's why I'm all showered and dressed ahead of time, because I have to go to the doctor, and it's only polite to shower and make yourself a human before you go to your doctor, because they have to touch your body and you should be clean. So mommy's very clean. And you had a bath last night, so you're technically clean too. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So today we are starting a new book, and shock of the century, we're reading a physical book. So what happened was Little Miss and Secret Husband and I went to the library yesterday to look for all the books on our list, because none of them had come up in the library. Good morning, Anya. None of them had come up for Kindle. Thank you, Sloth. I appreciate that vote of confidence. And so I was like, let me go look at the library and see if any of the books on our list are available physical copies. All the ones we wanted are checked out in physical copies as well. Obviously, these are very popular books that people are really loving, which is great news for us. But I was like, well, let me see. And Secret Husband saw this sitting on the shelf, and it's by the same author as the other book that we wanted to read. And he was like, well, maybe just give it a try. And so I was like, okay, we could try it. I mean, like, here's the thing about it. If the author is good, then it's probably going to be good, and we're going to want to read the other one anyway, and it's going to be good. And if this book isn't good and it's too scary for us, then we take it back to the library. You know what I mean? Like, that's the great thing about the library. It's not a big deal. There's no harm, no foul. It's not like we spend $40 on it or something like that, because these giant books usually cost that much these days. But, like, it's from the library. So everybody who is in book club should know that I also get scared very easily. So that's... Oh, I need to fix this. Yeah, there we go. Can you come over here so Mommy can fix her shoulder? Yeah. I can show the cover again, of course. It's called How to Sell a Haunted House. And I will read you the description. And hey, Karen, it's new book day. Good timing. Yeah, good timing. So I'm gonna read it, and then I know. I wish it was a job too. It's so fun, right? I'm gonna read it, and we'll see how we feel about the first chapter. I'm also gonna fix my shoulder first. Yeah, Mommy just had to fix herself. That's all. Yeah, almost finished with the Flock Ravenwood series. How is it? Is it good? So yeah, like I said, we're basically gonna take a vote after today. It did used to be a volunteer position. I was telling Secret Husband about that the other day, because we were talking about jobs that we would like to have in our very old age when we have to retire, and what we would like to do with our time. And I was like, I will go to the NICU and I will rock babies. I would happily do that. Yeah, I will happily do that. All day. All day. But only when you're grown. For now, just you. Okay, so basically we're gonna read it, and then everyone can vote if we like it or not, and if not, we'll get another book. So here is the I didn't know your sister had been in the NICU. Here is the synopsis, if you will, the like book jacket information. All right, so it says, when Louise finds out that her parents have died, she dreads going home. She doesn't want to leave her daughter with her ex and fly to Charleston. She doesn't want to deal with her family home stuffed to the rafters with the remnants of her father's academic career and her mother's lifelong obsession with puppets and dolls. She doesn't want to learn how to live without the two people she knew who loved her best in the whole world. Most of all, she doesn't want to deal with her brother Mark, who never left their hometown and gets fired from one job after another and resents her success. Unfortunately, she'll need his help to get the house ready for sale, because it's going to take more than some new paint on the walls and clearing out a lifetime of memories to get this place on the market. Oh, okay, Becca. But some houses don't want to be sold, and Louise and Mark's home had other plans for the both of them. Like his novels, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and The Final Girl Support Group, How to Sell a Haunted House is a classic Hendricks, equal parts heartfelt and terrifying. It's a gripping new read from the horror master. Okay, it did use the word terrifying, which scares me a little. Secret Husband read the synopsis, not me, but he grabbed it off the shelf for us. But I'm hoping it's not too terrifying, because I don't handle being scared very well, and I don't want nightmares or anything. But let's see how it goes. We're going to read the first chapter, and we're going to see, right? We're going to take it as a test. I know. Really? Okay, your partner said it's good. It's a horror book, but like how horror-y, Liz? You know what I mean? Like, is it the type of horror that we can handle, or like really scary? You know what I'm saying? Because like there's different types of horror. There's like psychological horror. There's like blood and guts horror. You know what I mean? There's a variety of horrors. There's some horrors in this house. Remember that from After Dark? Okay, anyway. Hey, Simmy. So this is the dedication in the book. It says, Amanda, you are with me everywhere. I see you where I go. You surround me always, even though I know exactly where I buried you. Woo! I don't know. Are we going to make it through this book, you guys? I don't know. We're about to find out. On Fablewood input, it says dark, suspenseful horror. Okay, well, we're going to find out. And like I said, you guys, if it's too scary for us, we'll put it aside. It's a library book, no harm, no foul. But it's worth giving a try and seeing if we like the author at least, right? Because we want to read other books by him. Chapter 1. Louise thought it might not go well, so she told her parents she was pregnant over the phone from 3,000 miles away in San Francisco. It wasn't that she had a single doubt about her decision. When those two parallel pink lines had ghosted into view, all her panic dissolved, and she heard a clear and certain voice inside her head say, "I'm a mother now." But even in the 21st century, it was hard to predict how a pair of Southern parents would react to the news that their 34-year-old unmarried daughter was pregnant. Louise spent all day rehearsing different scripts that would ease them into it, but the minute her mom answered the phone and her dad picked up the kitchen extension, her mind went blank, and instead she blurted out, "I'm pregnant." She braced herself for the barrage of questions. "Well, are you sure? Does Ian know? Are you going to keep it? Have you thought about moving back to Charleston? And are you sure this is the best thing? Do you have any idea how hard this will be to do alone? How are you going to manage?" That's amazing, Naisa. I love that book so much. In the long silence, she prepared her answers. "Yes, not yet, of course, God no, but I'm doing it anyway, and yes, I'll manage." I know, right? Over the phone, she heard someone inhale through what sounded like a mouthful of water, and she realized that it was her mom, crying. "Oh, Louise," her mother said in a thick voice, and Louise prepared herself for the worst. "I am so happy you are gonna be the mother that I wasn't." Her dad had the only question, her exact street address. "I don't want any confusion with the cab driver when we land." "Dad," Louise said, "you don't have to come right now." "Of course we do," he said. "You're our Louise." She waited for them on the sidewalk, her heart pounding every time a car turned the corner, and finally, a dark blue Nissan slowed to a stop in front of her building, and her dad helped her mom out of the back seat, and she couldn't wait. She threw herself into her mom's arms like she was a little kid again. They took her crib shopping and stroller shopping and told Louise how crazy she was to even consider cloth diaper service, and discussed feeding techniques, vaccinations, and a million decisions that Louise would have to make. They bought a snot sucker, diapers, onesies, and receiving blankets, changing pads and wipes, and rash cream and burp cloths and rattles and nightlights, and Louise would have thought that they bought way too much if her mother hadn't said, "Well, you've hardly bought anything at all." She couldn't even blame them for having a hard time with the whole Ian issue. "Well, married or not, we are going to have to meet his family," her mom said. "We're going to be co-grandparents." "Well, I haven't even told him yet," Louise said. "I'm barely 11 weeks. "Well, you're not getting any less pregnant," her mom pointed out. "There are tangible financial benefits to marriage," her dad added. "You sure you don't want to reconsider?" Louise did not want to reconsider. Ian could be funny, he was smart, and he made an obscenely high income curating rare vinyl for rich people in the Bay Area who yearned for their childhoods. He put together a complete collection of original pressing Beatles LPs for the fourth largest shareholder at Facebook, and found the bootleg of a Grateful Dead concert where a Twitter board member had proposed to his first wife. Louise couldn't believe how much they had paid him for this. On the other hand, when she suggested they should take a break, he'd taken this as his cue to go down on one knee in the atrium of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art and propose. He'd been so upset when she said no that she'd finally had pity beep boop with him, which is how she came to be in her current condition. When Ian had proposed, he'd been wearing his vintage Nirvana in utero t-shirt with a hole in the collar that had cost him $400. He spent thousands every year on sneakers, which he insisted on calling kicks, and he checked his phone when she talked about her day, made fun of her when she mixed up the Rolling Stones and The Who, and said, "Are you sure?" whenever she ordered dessert. "Dad," Louise said, "Ian is not ready to be a parent." "Well, who is?" her mom asked. But Louise knew Ian really wasn't ready to be a parent. Every family visit lasts 3 days too long, and by the end of the week, Louise was counting the hours until she could be alone in her apartment again. The day before her parents' flight home, she holed up in her bedroom doing emails while her mom took her earrings off to take a nap
and her dad left to find a copy of the Financial Times. If they could do this until lunch, they could go on a walk around the Presidio and then dinner, and Louise figured everything would be just fine. Louise's body had other plans, though. She felt hungry now. She needed hard-boiled eggs now, and she had to get up and go to the kitchen now. So she crept into the living room in her socks, trying not to wake her mom, because she couldn't handle another conversation about why she wouldn't let her hair grow out, or why she should move back to Charleston, or why she should start drawing again. Her mom lay asleep on the couch, on one side, a yellow blanket pulled up to her waist. The late morning light brought out her skeleton in tiny lines around her mouth, her thinning hair, her slack cheeks, and for the first time in her life, Louise knew what her mother would look like dead. "I love you," her mom said without opening her eyes, and Louise froze. "I know," she said after a moment. "No," her mom said, "you don't." Louise waited for her to add something, but her mom's breathing just deepened, got regular, and turned into a snore. Louise continued into the kitchen. Had she overheard half of a dream conversation, or did her mom mean that Louise didn't know that she loved her, or maybe how much that she loved her, or she wouldn't understand how much her mom loved her until she had a daughter of her own? She worried at this while she ate her hard-boiled egg. Was her mom talking about her living in San Francisco? Did she think that Louise had moved this far away to put distance between them? Louise had moved here for school, and then she stayed there for work. Although when you grow up with all your friends telling you how cool your mom was, and even your exes asked about her when they bumped into you, you needed some distance if you wanted to live a life of your own. Sometimes 3,000 miles didn't feel like enough to Louise. She wondered if her mom somehow knew. Then there was her brother. Mark's name had only come up twice on this visit, and Louise knew it aided her mom that the two of them didn't have a natural relationship. But to be honest, she didn't want a relationship with her brother, natural or otherwise. In San Francisco, she could pretend she was an only child. The author writes very visual picture. I know, right? It's great to be able to see. I like the cadence of it so far. Louise knew that she was the typical oldest sibling, a cookie-cutter first child. She read the articles, scanned the listicles, and every single trait applied to her. Reliable, structured, responsible, hardworking. She'd even seen it classified as a disorder, the oldest sibling syndrome, and it made her wonder what Mark's disorder was. Terminal assholeism, most likely. I know she's adding the ambiance. She's fully passed out, you guys. It's like the old days of book club. When people asked why she didn't speak to her brother, Louise told them the story of Christmas 2016, when her mom spent all day cooking, but Mark insisted that they meet him for dinner at P.F. Chang's, where he showed up late, drunk, and tried to order the entire menu, and then passed out on the table. "Why do you let him act like that?" Louise had asked. "Try to be more understanding of your brother," her mother had said, and Louise understood her brother plenty. She won awards, Mark struggled through high school. She got a master's in design, Mark dropped out of his college freshman year. She built products that people used every day, including part of the user interface for the latest iteration of the iPhone. He was on a mission to get fired from every bar in Charleston. He only lived 20 minutes away from their parents, but refused to lift a finger to help them out. No matter what he did, her parents lavished Mark with praise. He rented a new apartment, and they acted like he brought down the Berlin Wall. He bought a truck for $500 and got it running again, and he might as well have landed on the moon. When Louise won the Industrial Designer Society of America Graduate Student Merit Award, she gave the trophy to her parents to thank them. They put it in a closet. "Your brother is going to be hurt if we have that out for you and nothing for him," her mother had said, but Louise knew that her not speaking to Mark was the internal elephant in the room, the invisible ghost at the table, the phantom strain on every interaction with her parents, especially with her mom, who hated what she called unpleasantness. Her mom was always up and was always on, and while Louise didn't see anything wrong with being happy, her mom's enforced happiness seemed pathological. She avoided hard conversations about painful subjects. She had a Christian puppet ministry. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. She had a Christian puppet ministry and always acted like she was on stage. Interesting. Is this play about us? The few times that she lost it as a mother, she'd snapped, "Well, you're embarrassing me," she said, as if being embarrassed was the worst possible thing that could happen to someone. Maybe that's why she was so certain about her decision to have this baby. Becoming a mother would allow her and her mother to share something between them. It would bring them close together. She suspected all the things that annoyed her about her mom were exactly the things that would make her an incredible grandmother. As Louise brushed eggshell off the counter, she thought that shared motherhood might form a bridge between them, and gradually the walls that Louise had needed to protect herself would come down. It wouldn't happen overnight, but that was okay. They'd have a lifetime to adjust to each other's new roles, a daughter becoming a mother becoming a grandmother. They would have years, and as it turned out, she got 5. That's interesting. Well, yeah. Mommy's gonna reach for her coffee. Just give me a second. Please, I must have it. I know you don't want me to lean forward, but I want it. Okay, but I want it. I want the coffee so badly, honey. I want the coffee so badly. I know you're mad at me for leaning forward, but can Mommy please have coffee? Do you think? What do you think? Do you think Mommy might be allowed to have coffee? Yeah? Yeah? You can be right here if you just cover your face. Just lean right here, yeah. Oh, grumpy gills. Grumpity? Grumpy? She's disappointed I won't share the coffee with her. That's probably true. That's probably true. Are you all settled now? Okay, we're going to read chapter 2 as soon as she's settled. Are you all settled and comfy? Yeah, okay. Okay, well, so far so good. I like the cadence of the author, and although I suspect we haven't gotten into the true horrors yet, it's not so bad yet, right? Let's see what chapter 2 has in store for us. Chapter 2. The call came as Louise desperately tried to convince her daughter that she was not going to like the Velveteen Rabbit. "We just got all those new library books," she said. "Don't you want—" "Velveteen Rabbit!" Poppy insisted. "It's scarier than the Muppet Christmas Carol," Louise told her. "Remember how scary that was when the door knocker turned into that man's face?" "I want Velveteen Rabbit," Poppy said in her firm voice. Louise knew that she should take the path of least resistance and just read the Velveteen Rabbit. But that would happen over her dead body. She should have checked the package before letting Poppy open it, because of course her mom had sent her a check for the Dinosaur Dig summer camp like she'd promised, but she'd also randomly sent Poppy a copy of The Velveteen Rabbit because she thought it was Louise's favorite book. It was not Louise's favorite book. It was the source of Louise's childhood nightmares. The first time her mom had read it to her, she'd been Poppy's age, and she burst into tears when the rabbit got taken outside to be burned. "I know," her mom had said, completely misreading the situation. "It's my favorite book, too." The book's emotional cruelty made 5-year-old Louise's stomach hurl. The thoughtless boy who abused toys, the needy toys who pathologically craved his approval no matter how much he neglected them, and the remote and fearsome Nana, the bullying rabbits that lived in the wild. But her mom kept picking it for her at bedtime, oblivious to the fact that Louise would lie rigid while she read it, hands gripping the sheets, staring at the ceiling as her mom did all the voices. Ooh. It was a master class in acting, a star turned by Nancy Joyner, and getting to deliver this performance was the real reason her mom kept picking the book. By the end, they'd both be crying, but for very different reasons. "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Sometimes," said the skin horse. "When you're real, you don't mind being hurt." Louise had dated a girl at Berkeley who had that exact quote tattooed on her forearm, and she wasn't surprised when she found out she gave herself tattoos with a sewing needle taped to a Bic pen. The Velveteen Rabbit confused masochism with love. It wallowed in loneliness, and what kind of awful thing was a skin horse anyway? Louise wouldn't make the same mistakes with Poppy. There would be no Velveteen Rabbit in this house, even if she had to fight dirty. You're going to hurt the feelings of all those new library books, Louise said, and instantly Poppy's eyes got wide. They're going to be sad that you didn't want to read them first, and you're going to make them cry. Lying to Poppy felt awful. Pretending inanimate objects had feelings felt manipulative, but every time Louise did this, she felt a little less guilty. Her mom had manipulated them throughout their childhood with impossible promises and flat-out lies. I know, right, Sloth? I don't even know what that means, but I don't like it. Her mom, elves are real, but you'll only see one if you're absolutely quiet for this entire car ride. Well, I'm allergic to dogs, so we definitely can't have one. And then she vowed to always be honest and straightforward with her own child. Of course, the second Poppy turned out to be an early talker, Louise adjusted her approach. She didn't rely on it nearly as much as her mother did, though, and that was important. They're really gonna cry? Poppy asked. Damn it, Mom, Louise thought. Yes, Louise said, and their pages are gonna get all wet, which, thank God, is when her ringtone activated, playing the hysterical escalating chords of Summit with frantic bird whistles, which meant the call came from family. She looked at her screen, expecting to read Mom and Dad Landline or Aunt Honey. Instead, it said, Mark. Her hands got cold. Ugh, he needs money again, Louise thought. He's in San Francisco, and he needs a place to stay, I bet. Or he's been arrested, and Mom and Dad finally put their foot down. Mark, she said, answering, feeling her pulse snapping in her throat. Is everything all right? You need to sit down, he said. Automatically, she stood up. Well, what's happened? Don't freak out, he said. Well, she started to freak out. What did you do? She asked. Well, Mom and Dad are in a better place. What do you mean? I mean, he said, carefully putting his next sentence together, they're not suffering anymore. I just talked to them on Tuesday, Louise said. They weren't suffering on Tuesday. You need to tell me what's happening. I'm trying, he snapped, his words sounding mushy. Jesus, I'm sorry. I'm not doing it the right way. I'm sure you'd be perfect at this. Mom and Dad are dead. The lights went out all over North Carolina. They went out across the bay. They went dark in Oakland and Alameda. Darkness rolled across Bay Bridge and Yerba Buena. They turned black as the water lapping at its shores. The lights went out in the Ferry Building, the Tenderloin, the Theater District. Darkness advanced on Louise street by street, from the Mission to the park to her building, to the apartment downstairs and the hall in front. The entire world went black except for a single spotlight shining down on Louise, standing in her living room and gripping her phone. No, she said, because Mark was wrong about things all the time. He'd once invested in the snake farm. They got T-boned on the corner of Coleman and McCants by some asshole in an SUV, Mark said. I'm already talking to a lawyer about it. He thinks because it was Mom and Dad, we're looking at a huge settlement. This doesn't make any sense, Louise thought. This doesn't make any sense, she said. Dad was in the passenger seat, so you know he got it the worst, Mark continued. Mom was driving. She totally shouldn't have been doing that because, dude, you know how she is at night, and it was pouring down rain. The car rolled, and it sliced her arm off at the shoulder. It's horrible. She died in the ambulance. I find knowing these details does make it a little easier. Mark, Louise said, and she needed to breathe. She couldn't breathe. Listen, he said, soft and slurred. I get it. You're where I was earlier, but it's important to think of them as energy. They didn't suffer, right? Because our bodies are just vessels for energy, and energy can't feel pain. Louise's knuckles tightened around her phone. Are you drunk? He immediately got defensive, which meant yes, he was. This isn't an easy call for me, he said, but I wanted to reach out and tell you that everything's going to be okay. I need to call someone, Louise said, feeling desperate. I need to call Aunt Honey. You call whoever you want, Mark said, but I want you to know that everything is going to be okay. Mark, Louise snapped. We haven't spoken in 3 years, and you get drunk and you call me to tell me that Mom and Dad are she became conscious of Poppy and lowered her voice, are not doing well, but it's okay because their energy? It's not okay. You should have a drink too, he said. When did it happen? Silence on his end of the phone, and then, those details don't really matter. That triggered her internal alarms. Yes, they do. He made it sound casual. Like yesterday, around 2 a.m. I've been dealing with a lot. 41 hours, she said, doing the math. Her parents had been dead for almost 2 days, and she had been walking around like nothing had happened because Mark couldn't have been bothered to pick up the phone. She hung up on him. She looked at Poppy kneeling on the floor by the piano bench, whispering to her library books and petting them, and she saw her mom. Poppy had her mom's blonde hair, her delicately pointed chin, her enormous brown eyes, and her undersized frame. Louise wanted to swoop down and gather her up and bury her face in the sweet smell of her, but that was the kind of... Really? Yeah? What is that about? What is that about? What is that about? You're sleeping. There's no need for those sounds. Yeah. What? 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 Oh, hold on. Okay. You want to move positions? You want a new sleepy position? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, honey. What's wrong? What's wrong? All your limbs are fine. All your limbs are fine. I know it sounded like an owie, but there's no owie limbs. It did sound like an owie, didn't it? But all your limbs are in good places. Are you just being silly Billy? You just being a silly Billy? Yeah, okay. Are we all better? Are we all better? I think we're all better. We're not all better? Okay. Okay. It keeps skipping back to all your limbs are fine. For a horror book, that feels about right. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, honey, why don't you just curl up and go back to sleep? It's sleepy time for you. Is it back to normal now, or am I still skipping on all your limbs are fine? Do you want to come out of here, maybe? Do you want to come out and lay on Mommy's lap? You might like that. Yeah. Whoop. We're out. We're out. Yeah. Yeah, you can lay on Mommy's lap. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, you like to lay this way. There you go. There you go. Okay. It never skipped for you? All right. Hold on. Since we're on a break, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. A baby-imposed break. Okay, she's fine. Louise wanted to swoop down and gather her up and bury her face in the sweet smell of her, but that was the kind of grand theatrical gesture that her mom favored. Her mom would never think that it might scare Poppy or make her feel unsafe. I signed my emails Liz. Wait. Oh, that's fair, Liz. I missed the first thing. Yes, that is fair. I would probably hate that too. That's why I only call you Liz. Was that Granny? Poppy asked because she adored her grandmother and had learned to recognize the family ringtone. It was Aunt Honey, Louise lied, barely holding herself together. And I need to call your grandmother. You stay here and you watch one episode of Paw Patrol, and when you're done, we'll make a special dinner. Poppy bounced up. She was never allowed to use the iPad by herself, so the exciting new privilege distracted her from the sad library books and from who had been on the phone. Yeah? Yeah? You want to hold my hand? You can hold my hand. Yeah, hold my hand. Baby toes. Baby toes. Your granddaughter's Elizabeth. There's so many Elizabeths. I know too many even. Louise got her settled on the sofa with the iPad and walked to the bedroom and closed the door. Mark had made a mistake. He was drunk. He had once invested thousands of dollars in a Christmas tree factory in Mexico that turned out to be a scam just because he had a gut feeling about it. Really? Why are we screaming? Why are we screaming? Is it because you're waking up? Are you screaming because you're waking up? You can lay here. It's okay. There you go. No screaming. No screaming. No screaming. Okay. Louise needed to know for sure. She didn't think she could stand it if she called home and no one answered, so she called Aunt Honey. Her fingers wouldn't go where she wanted and kept opening her weather app, but she finally managed to make them tap on Aunt Honey's number in her contacts. Her aunt, well, great aunt, technically, picked up on the first ring. "What?" she barked through phlegm-clogged vocal cords. "Aunt Honey," Louise said. Her throat then closed and she couldn't say anything. "Oh, Lulu," Aunt Honey croaked. Those 2 words contained all the heartbreak in the world. Everything went very quiet, and Louise's nervous system made a high-pitched tone in her ears. She didn't know what to say next. I don't know what to do," she said finally, her voice small and miserable. "Oh, sweetheart," Aunt Honey said, "you pack a nice dress and you come home." Louise's mom also had a pathological inability to discuss death. When their Uncle Arthur had a heart attack and drove his riding lawnmower through a greenhouse, she told Mark and Louise that she and their dad were going to Myrtle Beach for a vacation, and then she parked them with Aunt Honey. When Sue Estes' older sister died of leukemia in 5th grade, Louise's mom had told her she was too young to go to the funeral. Her friendship with Sue was never the same after that. Louise's mom had claimed to be allergic to all pets, including goldfish, for their entire childhood, and it wasn't until Louise got out of grad school that her mom revealed she simply never wanted anything in the house that might die. "Well, it would have upset you and your brother just too much," she explained. And when Louise had Poppy, she vowed to be honest about death. She knew that stating the facts plainly would be the best way for Poppy to understand that death was a part of life. She would answer all Poppy's questions with absolute honesty, and if she didn't know something, they would figure it out together. "I'm going to Charleston tomorrow," Louise told Poppy that night, sitting in their story-time chair beside her bed, the glow of the plastic goose lamp, "and I want you to understand why. Your grandmother and grandfather were in a very bad accident." Louise saw safety glass exploding, metal tearing and twisting, and their bodies got hurt very badly. They got hurt so badly that they stopped working, and your grandmother and grandfather died. Poppy shot up in bed, smashing into Louise like a cannonball, wrapping her arms around her ribs too tightly, bursting into a long and keening wail. "No!" Poppy screamed. "No, no, 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 no!" Louise tried to explain that it was okay, that she was sad too, and that they would all be sad together, and that being sad when someone died was normal. But every time she started to speak, Poppy wiped her face back and forth against Louise like she was trying to scrape it off, screaming, "No, no, 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 no." When finally she realized that Poppy wasn't going to stop any time soon, Louise eased herself onto the bed and held her daughter in her arms until Poppy cried herself to sleep. So much for explaining death in a healthy way. Louise held Poppy's feverish, limp body for hours, wishing harder than she'd ever wished before that for just 60 seconds someone would hold her. But no one holds the moms. She remembered her mom holding her in her lap while they sat in Dr. Rector's waiting room, while it smelled like alcohol swabs and finger pricks, distracting Louise by telling her what all the other children were there for. "Well, you see that little boy over there?" her mom said, pointing to a 6-year-old picking his nose. "He picked his nose so much that he can now smell his own fingerprints. They're getting him a nose transplant. And that one over there chewing on her mother's purse straps, they accidentally swapped brains for the dogs. That little girl, she ate apple seeds, and now they're growing apple trees in her tummy." "Is she going to be all right?" Louise had asked. "Well, of course she is," her mom said. "The apples are delicious. That's why they're here. They want Dr. Rector to plant some oranges in there, too." Her mom remembered everyone's birthday, everyone's anniversary, and everyone's first day at a new job, and everyone's due date. She remembered every single cousin or nephew or church person's entire calendar like it was her job. She wrote notes and dropped off pies, and Louise couldn't remember a single birthday when they hadn't picked up the phone and heard her mom singing happy birthday on the end of the line. Yeah, her mom really is something. But that was all over now. The cards on every occasion, the phone calls on every birthday, and the Christmas newsletter going out to however many hundreds of people. None of that would ever happen again. Her mom had opinions, so many opinions that sometimes Louise felt like she couldn't breathe. The Velveteen Rabbit was Louise's favorite book. You should never throw anything away because it would always be reused. Children shouldn't be allowed to wear black until they're 18. Women shouldn't cut their hair short until they're 50. Louise worked too hard and should move back to Charleston. Mark Mark was just misunderstood, and he was a genius simply waiting to find his place in the world. Well, that sounds damn familiar. All of those opinions, all of her crafting, all of her notes and phone calls, her constant need to be the center of attention, her exhausting need to be liked by everyone, her mood swings from euphoric highs to depressive lows, it made her mom who she was. But at an early age, it also taught Louise that her mom was unreliable in a way that her father was not. Louise had never seen her dad upset in his entire life. In middle school, she recorded Nirvana's Unplugged over the video of his paper presentation at the Southern Regional Science Association, and when he found out, he'd taken a long moment to absorb the information, and then he said, "Well, that'll teach me to have a big head." When she wanted to know about electricity, he'd shown her how to use an ohm meter, and they'd gone around the house sticking it in test probes into the wall sockets, touching them to batteries. She used her Christmas money that year to go to Radio Shack and buy Mims Getting Started in Electronics, and she and her dad had taught themselves to solder, making moisture detectors and tone generators together in the garage. Louise slid out of Poppy's bed, careful not to wake her, and she crept into the kitchen. There was something she needed to do. She stood in the dark and scrolled through her contacts until she found Mom and Dad landline. She looked away while she got her breathing under control, and then she touched the number. They still had an answering machine. "Well, you've reached the Joyner residence," her father's recorded voice said in exactly the same rhythm she'd heard for decades. She knew every pause, every change, every inflection in this entire message. She mouthed along with it silently. "We're unwilling or unable to answer the phone right now, so please leave a clear and detailed message after the tone, and we will call you back at our earliest convenience." The machine then beeped, and across the country in her parents' kitchen, Louise heard it click to record. "Mom," Louise said, her breath high and tight in her throat. Dad, hey, I was just thinking of you guys, and I wanted to call and say hi and see if you're there. Mark called tonight, and if you're there, please pick up." She waited a full 10 seconds, but they didn't pick up. I miss you both, and I hope you're okay." She didn't know what else to say. "And I love you. I love you both so much. Okay, bye." She went to hang up and then pressed the phone to her mouth again. "Please call me back." She hit disconnect and then stood alone in the dark. A sudden sense of certainty filled her entire body, and a clear speaking voice inside of her head said for the first time since she was pregnant with Poppy, "I'm an orphan now." I missed most of it. The kid's grandpa dropped by. Oh, that's a good reason to miss it. That's a good reason to miss it. Yeah. Yeah, it is. That was very heartbreaking, you guys. Absolutely heartbreaking. Well, so far it's sad but not scary yet. I don't know. Sounds like I would have cried anyway. Possibly, Becca. Possibly. How do we like this onesie, though? Pretty cute, right? I know. Very, very harsh. Very harsh line. Ooh. Her mom sounds a little bit like my mom. But not, my mom's not Southern. I know, Naisa, I'm wondering. So what do we think? Do we think we should keep going with it and see if it gets too scary? Or do we think we should call it a day and find something else? Yes, the onesie is perfect. This was her Valentine's Day onesie. It's her love letters onesie. I feel like we should keep giving it a try because it's well written, you know what I mean? And then, like, if it gets too scary, we can stop at that point, and people who want to keep going can keep going on their own. I think we should give it a try. We've never read this kind of book, right? So, I mean, you know, we pride ourselves on reading all different things. Yeah, me too. I mean, like, it's sad, but it doesn't make it bad, per se. Maybe it'll be a little healing. Who knows? And then we'll find out if we really like this author, and then, you know, we're going to read the other one. I really, really want to read the other one. I'm like, oh, I'm so ready for that other book. The Witchcraft for Wayward Girls one. I'm really excited for that one. And since it seems like this author's really good, it's probably going to be, you know, really good also. Yeah. It's a good thing that we read in the daytime. So, yes, we read in the morning so early. So if it's scary, we have all day to forget about it before bedtime, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we'll continue and we'll continue to take a vote. And when it gets too scary, we'll stop, right? Yeah. We're going to get dressed in our outside clothes, huh? Because we're going to go on a trip today. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we are. Oh, really? Do you have anything else you want to say? Yeah. What else? That's it? That's all you want to say for today? All right. You guys have a great day. I will see you later. Don't forget we have Roll for Slime After Dark tomorrow. I'm almost done packing up all the slimes, which is why I haven't been doing slime lives. But I've been packing all of the slimes in the evening. Like when my husband gets off work, he holds her, and then I've been doing like, you know, packing of the jars and stuff like that. So that's what's been going on. But tomorrow we have Roll for Slime After Dark. Tonight I think I might record some custom and Roll for Slime videos, but if I don't, then I will be on live making another grab bag, because I do need to make another grab bag. So if I don't make it on live tonight, I'll probably make it on live on Saturday, because I don't have enough grab bags to finish the people at the end of the month when everyone whose charge date is after the 15th. I don't have enough made for them yet, so we'll make those. All right. Love you guys, and we'll see you later.